everybody, welcome to day 270 of Rhys's Stories, and today I'm going to be reading you the story, The First Stockings, and that's what the story is actually called. And today I have a bit of a sinus cold, so don't mind if I'm reading a bit croakier. So today I'm going to be reading you The First Stockings, an extract from The Life and Adventures of Santa Claus by L Frank Baum. When you remember that no child until Santa Claus began his travels had ever known the pleasure of possessing a toy, you will understand how joy crept into the homes of those who had been favoured with a visit from the good man. When another Christmas Eve drew near, there was a loud and beautiful gift for the children ready to be loaded upon the big sledge. Claus filled 3 sacks and tucked every corner of the sledge full of toys. Then at twilight, the 10 reindeer appeared, and Flossie introduced them all to Claus. They were Racer and Pacer, reckless and speckless, fearless and peerless, and ready and steady. Who with Glossie and Flossie made up the 10 who have traversed the world these hundreds of years with their generous master. They were all very beautiful, with slender limbs, spreading antlers, velvety dark eyes, and smooth coats of fawn, colour spotted with white. Claus loved them at once, and has loved them ever since. The new harness fitted them nicely, and soon they were all fastened to the sledge by twos, with Glossie and Flossie in the lead. The reindeer wore strings of sleigh bells and were so delighted with the music they made that they kept prancing up and down to make the bells ring. Claus seated himself in the sledge, drew a warm robe over his knees and his fur cap over his ears, and cracked his whip as a signal to start. The reindeer leapt forwards and were away just like the wind, while jolly Santa Claus laughed gleefully to see them run and shouted a song in his big, hearty voice, with a ho, 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 and a ha, 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 and a ho, ho, ha, ha, he. Now away we go o'er the frozen snow. As merry as we can be, there are many joys in our load of toys, as many a child will know. We'd scatter them wide in our wild night ride, or the crisp and sparkling snow. Now it was on this Christmas Eve that little Margot and her brother Dick and her cousins Ned and Sarah, who were visiting at Margot's house, came in from making a snowman. The child's clothes were damp, their mittens dripping, and their shoes and stockings wet through. They were not scalded, for Margot's mother knew the snow was melting, but they were sent to bed early, so that their clothes might be hung over chairs to dry. The children's shoes were placed on the red tiles of the hearth, where the heat from the hot embers would strike them, and their stockings were carefully hung up in a row by the chimney, directly over the fireplace. That was the reason Santa Claus noticed them when he came down the chimney. That night, once the household was fast asleep, he was in a tremendous hurry, and seeing the stockings all belonged to children, he quickly stuffed his toys into them and dashed up the chimney again, appearing on the roof so suddenly that the reindeer were astonished. I will astonished. I wish they would all hang up their stockings, he thought as he drove to the next chimney. It would save me a lot of time, and I could then visit more children before daybreak. When Margot and Dick and Ned and Sarah jumped out of bed the next morning and ran downstairs to get their stockings from the fireplace, they were filled with delight to find the toys from Santa Claus inside them. In fact, I think they found more presents in their stockings than any other children of that city had received, for Santa Claus was in a hurry and did not stop to count the toys. The children told all their little friends about it, and of course, every one of them decided to hang their own stockings by the fireplace the next Christmas Eve. On his next trip, Santa Claus found so many stockings hung up in anticipation of his visit that he could fill them in a jiffy. He could be away again in half the time required to find the children and place the toys by their bedsides. The custom grew year after year and has always been a great help to Santa Claus. The end. I hope you enjoyed that lovely story called The First Stockings, and other Christmas stories are in it. And yes, I don't know who gave me this. My mom got this for me, and there's all different stories in it. There's the first stockings, there's the first Christmas tree, there's a Christmas star, there's Santa Claus's helpers, there's Jimmy Buys Snowman, and there's Christmas Morning. I've read all this book before when I went to bed, and I've also started a new one. I'll just get it there for you now. It's just down here on the floor. Yes, it's called A Christmas Tree Adventure. So I hope you enjoyed that lovely story called The First Stockings, and I guess I will see you all tomorrow for day 271 of Rhys's stories. So bye everybody!